Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're trick-or-treating again. So, round two, baby, round two. So, it's Halloween approaching right now, and I thought, what a better time to talk about trick-or-treating again, because I don't know, to tell you the truth, I don't really remember what I said last year, and I don't particularly like the sound of my own voice, so I refuse to listen to that podcast, that episode especially. I mean, not especially, but it's just, when you listen to yourself back, it just, I have to like edit and figure out the rest of those videos and make sure like anything like needs to get cut out or certain things, but like, once you hear it once, you just kind of like, it just get a little bit of a cringe, but we're talking about trick-or-treating again. This is for the people that are going out there, the people that are really gonna on the hustle for that candy. So trick-or-treating again. You always want to see like what kind of patterns you can follow every single year, because you never want to do it the same, but at the same time you kind of like, if you get a routine going, like every year you know what to expect. So it's kind of trying to figure out like, do you do something totally new or totally different? Or maybe it'll be totally new or totally different outside of your circumstances. Like if you move to a new place, if you're in a different area, just whatever, you know what I mean? Like if you're visiting like your grandma, like during Halloween week or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like for a vacation or like a holiday or something like that. And then you have to go trick-or-treating. I don't know. I'm just saying that like, I guess the big one is like if you move to a new house or move to a new place or whatever, then you have to figure out the rest. But anyways, the most important thing about this whole trick-or-treating thing is the candy. Now, how much candy are we talking here, right? Like we have to think to ourselves. When is too much candy enough candy, right? Because I remember like on my later years of trick-or-treating that there had to be, I had too much candy. I was overflowing with candy. I was going from house to house to house. Now, eventually you're kind of just like, you're just hoarding candy at that point, right? You're just taking it to take it. You're not really taking it to like enjoy it over time, right? Because that's a lot of candy. I remember I had this pillowcase full of candy and it was just like all expired. Like the chocolate was no good anymore. Like it was a complete waste, you know what I mean, of candy. And I think if you're going to eat it, like make sure it's a small pail or, look, when I was a kid, right, looking back on it, like those little pumpkin, the plastic pumpkin things that they would, I'm talking about the pails, the pumpkin head pails that they would like give to kids and they would fill that up with candy. That's like perfect. But when I was younger, I was like, I want more candy. I just want to get it. But it's not about just getting candy. It's about getting specific candy that you like. So for me, if I was a kid again, woke up again, if I was going trick-or-treating, I would wait. You know what I mean? Like you don't just take it to take it, right? Because some houses, they just give you the same thing over and over again. Like they'll give you, let's say for instance, they constantly give you, like Milky Ways, just for an example. They constantly give you these chocolate bars, and you're just like, yo, I don't want like a whole thing full of Milky Ways. Like I want some variety here. You know what I'm saying? Like give me some of the other candies. Give me Starbursts. Give me Jolly Ranchers. Like give me a little bit more different flavors. It can't just all be chocolate. Not that chocolate isn't amazing, but like after a certain time, chocolate gets a little bit overdone. So just try to find some variety in there, and don't just take to take. Like take maybe if they have like if they give you the candy, like they personally hand you the candy, fine, take it, whatever. Don't be like whatever about it, or don't say no. Just be like, yeah, they gave it to me. That's kind of how it rolls. But then if they have like if they're one of those families that leaves the bowl out and you can like take one or go away, then I would suggest taking just do what they say, take one and then move on to the next house, right? There's always another place. So that's my approach to it. Now, for the people out there who are figuring out what this trick-or-treating stuff does is essentially the trick-or-treating is like you give the kids a treat so that way they don't trick you or they don't like TP your house essentially, which is like, all right, fine, whatever. It's a little bit different. I used to think trick-or-treating was like you could give them a treat or you could trick them. I think that makes sense, but instead it's like you give them something so that way they don't do something to you, which I guess also makes sense. But that's what makes the tricking part so you have to be so careful about it, right? Because there are certain people you can trick, right? So let's talk about the next aspect, jump scares. So the jump scares, like a haunted mansion, a haunted house, my bad, where somebody's in a costume and then they jump out and they scare you, and they and then you're like, whoa, you freak out, you punch them in the face, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so you have to like kind of play it by, you have to figure out like who can you, who can't you, and in those instances, like if they're little kids and stuff, like just try to avoid it. But if they're cool, like just be like, yeah, that's dope, that's fun, It's just about anticipating what your neighborhood is like, right? If you just moved into the neighborhood, then it's gonna be a little tricky to gauge. You gotta wait a few years. But if you've lived in the neighborhood for like the past 10 years, then you can kind of like figure it out, being like, yo, I know that we get like a bunch of kids, so we're not gonna do the jump scares, we're just gonna do the treats. But then if you live in another part and you're like, we kind of get like the teenagers, or like we kind of get like some adults, some teenagers or whatever with their kids and whatnot, like they're cool, you know what I mean? They're not like babies. So then you could figure out like, okay, we can jump scare them, we can give them like a little shock, so something like that. Now, we can't talk about trick-or-treating without talking about the costumes, because it can't be, I was just talking about teenagers earlier. If they're just wearing like a mask, fine, whatever. But if they're not even blatantly wearing a costume, then you kind of have to be like, all right, like, I want to give you this candy, but like, there's a little kid out there dressed up as Superman, and you're not even going to give them, you're taking candy from these kids, essentially. And I don't know. I think we've gotten better at like dressing up. We all really like to dress up for the holiday. And, I'm not going to say I've been like totally like dressed up for Halloween or like for like parties or whatnot. But like, I try to like make it so that people understand the joke or like the costume I'm wearing. So you kind of figure it out, kind of don't. But all I'm trying to say is this: if you're trick-or-treating, make sure your costume is on point. Like, show off. You know what I mean? Play into the bit if you have like some sort of thing to it, right? Because if you if you dress up as like a TV, make sure you have like an HDMI cable to plug into you, so that way like kids can play games with you, right? Like that would be funny. That would be very funny if you dressed up as a TV, you're like in a little box, and then you have like the HDMI plugged in, whatever, right? And you hold that, and then you have like kids play games, like Mario Kart. Like you have them race one time, and then that's it. You know what I mean? It'd be like a quick little, just like a small little round, It'd have to be, it would have to be like one race. So, I don't know. I think, that would be a fun idea. Just like get out there and be with the children of the town. And that's kind of like a cool way to interact with people, you know what I mean? It's not so scary. It's actually fun. And then if you're giving out candy while trick-or-treating, here's the tricky thing. It's always weird to go up to somebody's house and knock. Because, it's Halloween, but at the same time, it's like, maybe they don't celebrate it, maybe they won't answer the door, maybe they'll just say no, like they don't have candy. Like, it gets a little awkward, you know what I mean? but it's better to like be there with open arms or like invite people to the house. So it's kind of that tricky thing of like, do you go outside and hand out candy or like leave a pot out there, or do you let them come to you? So I think it's like better to invite them or like be open and be like, hey, we're here for trick-or-treaters. If you want to come through, we're definitely handing out candy. You know what I mean? So like that's the fun aspect to it. But yeah, you never know. So because it feels weird to approach. You know what I mean? Like you spend so long like not approaching houses, and then this is the one time of year where it's like, oh, it's okay to like approach them. So it just feels a little weird. It's a lot better if you're like, we're here for trick-or-treaters, instead of like hiding in your house. It's kind of better to be like out there and be like, hey, if you're trick-or-treating, come here. We're going to give you candy. We're cool. We're fun. We're like very spooky. Like we have the whole thing going on here. You know what I mean? So we have to figure that out. But okay, Halloween is on a Tuesday. Like, who let this happen? Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, what can't holiday be Halloween be transferred? Like, I know it's supposed to be at the end of the month, but come on. Can't we just make it on? Can't we officially make Halloween on like a Saturday? Like, can't we just officially make it on a Saturday? No matter what. Like, I know they have like the official day is on the 31st. Like, I know that. I know it's like, it's a build up to it, right? And you can still kind of do it, like make it like Halloween 2, right? Like round 2 for like people who want to stick to tradition. But what I'm talking about here is about what's right and what's fair for the people of America. We're talking about like what needs to be done and what needs to be accomplished so that way we can all enjoy Halloween, right? You can't just do Halloween on a Tuesday. Last year, guess what? Last year, Halloween was on a Monday. And I thought Monday was bad. This is actually worse. Tuesday is worse for Halloween, right? So think about it like this, right? You just got up. This is last year. You got off your weekend on Sunday, and then the following day you have to go into work because like Monday is still Monday. Monday is still a work day. Monday is still like the beginning of the week, so to speak. I mean, Sunday technically is, but Monday is like the official like work day. So Monday is the real work day, the start of it, right? Then guess what? After that, it's Halloween. You want to have fun. Your friends invite you out. You have a couple of, you have some fun. You're up all night. And then guess what? You have to wake up the next day to go to work. Right? Isn't that hurts? That hurts, right? Now, imagine this year what happens, okay? You get off of the weekend and then Monday comes. And you live and you work a full day, right? You get on the, it's like riding a bicycle, muscle memory kicks back in. But you're on the bike. Let's say you're just getting the hang of it. And then the next day comes and you still have to continue you're still riding the bike. You're still getting into the groove of it. And then guess what? Halloween comes and bang, it knocks you off of the bike. And now you're just the rest of the week is all messed up because you just went out all night on that Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're still recovering from Halloween. So it's not even you have the rest of the week to kind of get in a groove to it, right? So Monday it can't even be so last year, that Monday was kind of like a extended weekend, if you will. If your weekend starts on let's say your weekend starts on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is kind of okay, like a transferable holiday on that Monday, right? This one is the weekend, work day again, and then that night you have to do Halloween, and then guess what after that? You have to go back to work the next day. So it's not even you can't even split the two up because there's that chunk of time in between. So that way you can't really, it makes it completely difficult to figure out because you're just I have to work, you have to suffer a day, and then you have to continue the suffering just so that way you could reach Halloween. And now you have to go to school, you have to go to work, you have to do it all again the next day. So it's just a big chore, just a big bother. Like if we just did it on that Saturday, then Sunday would be recovery, and Monday you get back to work. Everybody's cool, everybody's fun, everybody's chilling. You know what I mean? But it's not officially that Saturday. And I guess it is more for the kids. Like if you're an adult, like obviously you can go out on Saturday night and like really live it up Halloween style, dress up in your costume and whatnot. Like you can still party and have fun with it. I'm just saying, like, if we really want to get everybody involved here, make it on that Saturday, like officially. And then on the end of the month for like the kids, make it Halloween too, where they can, whatever, you know what, whatever, doesn't matter. It's just like, let's work smarter, people, not harder. Like, why are we forcing this on ourselves that Halloween has to be on that day? But whatever. I guess throughout the month anyways, everybody's already like dressing up and going out and throwing parties and whatnot, so it doesn't really matter. Anyways. Again, the next day. So think about this. The next day is Wednesday, and it's not so much that it's the middle of the week, right? Because, you know, that by then you could probably coast through. But depending on how your night goes on Halloween, it could be a nice morning or a terrible morning. You have to figure it out for yourself, right? This is what it's all about. If you have kids, right, and you go out all night with them trick-or-treating, obviously you can't go out all night. They have to have a bedtime. They go to school the next day. But like, sometimes you have to figure it out. You have to set yourself up for success with Halloween. You know what I mean? You can't just go stay up late all night, right? Even though you may want to, even though you quite possibly could, you have to set yourself up. So if you want a terrible morning, you know what you got to do. You got to party hard. You gotta go for it on Halloween. If you already know it's gonna be that type of night, or that like you're just gonna let loose no matter what, like it's gonna be bad either way, you might as well go all into it. You know what I mean? If you want a good and a nice morning the following day, like if you want to have fun and then wake up the next day feeling like, all right, that was fun, but I got other things I got to do the next day, then you gotta tone it down. You know. And sometimes that switch, it's very close. There's a thin line between it. You know, you're like, you want to go you just let loose and really explode, or tone it down just a little bit. You know what I mean? Go get home by 11 p.m., right? Just before midnight. Have like have some candy or whatnot. You know what I mean? Whatever. Have like a nice Halloween treat, and then go to bed. And then wake up in a few hours. You know what I'm saying? Or you stay up until like 3 a.m. essentially. And then you go to sleep for like an hour. And then you wake up, and then you have to figure out what's going on the rest of the thing. Although, here's the thing. If you end up having a terrible night, here's the number one thing. If you're going out and you're having a terrible night and you're just like, if you plan on having a terrible morning, or if you plan on staying up all night, think about this, okay? You're only going to get like about an hour's sleep, right? The only thing you can do to really wake yourself up, really prepare you for the torment you're putting yourself through, is you have to shower that morning. Now, showering in the morning is really, like on an average day, is kind of like, it's a bit harsh, but there are certain circumstances that have to fall in line with that, right? Maybe you exercise early in the morning to start your day off. Sometimes it does help you wake up, but I don't know. It's not like, I'm talking about this specifically for this moment. Like on a regular day, maybe not, maybe so, but whatever. Anyways, on this particular day, the following morning of Halloween, and you just like completely groggy, you're completely like just like, you're all messed up, shower. You have to shower. It'll wake you up. It'll snap you out of it. I know you don't want to do it, but trust me, it'll work. And it sets you up. And then after that, you just gotta start getting ready for the next holiday, which is obviously Thanksgiving. You gotta take down all of your Halloween decorations. You can't even leave it up, right? Like after Halloween, there's just I don't know. I guess you do have the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. Dia de los Muertos. Sorry. Man, why can't I say it right? Anyways, it's still a little bit spooky. I guess you could leave it up for like a day or two. Not really, but other than that, it's not that you can't leave it up there until like mid-November. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta take it down, dog. You gotta take it down. So that's just what I'll say about that. So if you're trick-or-treating, you gotta know when to start. It's essential. So I say you start when it gets dark. You don't, sunset trick-or-treaters, I get that people want to get an early start to it. And maybe that's how you get like the best candy or whatnot. But just, there's something about it. You don't ever want to be like early to the party. You don't want to be the first. You want to be in the middle. You want to be like right in the middle of the action, when everybody's out there. You don't want to start it off because then it's like, it feels like you're forcing something to happen instead of like being there while everything's already happening, so to speak. So let's say, it gets pretty dark early. Let's say you get started at around 7. Make it like a 3-hour event. Then you go out at 7, come back at 10, go to sleep by 11. Like, perfect, I just feel like going out early. Like, if you go out trick-or-treating, like at sunset, which is like around 6 or 5, or like 5:30, or between like 5:30 and 6, like, that's just way too early, okay? 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. is like perfect for trick-or-treating. So, and also, being too late doesn't work in your favor either. If you start trick-or-treating at like 9 p.m., well, I guess you could just, but it limits your trick-or-treating time. It limits your like outdoor fun time, I guess. So it really depends, right? If you go out too late, you'll have less time to actually go out and people might run out of stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying that there has to be like, what's the perfect time range for trick-or-treating? Because like people have to, if you're staying in, like you don't want to be up until like midnight passing out candy. But at the same time, like people are allowed to do that, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But it's one of those, Halloween is one of those outdoor holidays that we just like accept. And there are a few others like Easter. Easter's an outdoor holiday. You go outside and you go like get some you get some Easter eggs, you do Easter egg hunts and stuff like that. So it's kind of outdoorsy. 4th of July, you do fireworks outside. Like that's exciting. That's there. I was about to say like Valentine's Day. Is that even like I don't know. That's not like a real outdoor. I guess it can be, but it's not like a everybody does it kind of a thing. I don't know. I don't get it, but I was going to say New Year's Eve, but maybe not everybody does New Year's Eve outside. Whatever. It's just Halloween is one of those things that you go outside for. And because you go outside for it, you have to kind of figure out the rules of it. So Halloween is not in the morning in the same way that Easter is, right? Easter's like you wake up in the morning and then you go Easter egg hunting and whatnot. Whereas Halloween is more of like it's definitely a nighttime. It's a nighttime holiday. So in order to fully enjoy that Halloween, you have to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. As opposed to like Christmas where you can do it indoors and do it however you like in your own style, your own way. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, technically all holidays are outdoor holidays. well, not Thanksgiving. That's eating inside. You know, now that I think about it, Halloween is just so much fun compared to like other holidays. It's just like it gives everybody a chance to really express themselves, you know? You give somebody a mask, they'll really show you who they are. You know what I mean? Ain't that the truth? People will just show themselves, you know, who they are in reality. So stuff like that is really fun to see. And it's also like one of the only times where you dress up, you go out there, and you get to really meet new people, or you're like out there with other people. So it's like a collective thing. You know what I mean? Christmas is collective. Everybody's like merry and bright and cheery, but it's more of like a goody two shoes. Like Halloween is like, you can do whatever you want. It's like, it's out there. It's fun. It's like, you could be chaotic and dark and just like, you know, funny with it. Whereas like Christmas is a lot more like, all right, let's be good to each other. Let's be nice, you know? And if you do anything to the contrary of it, it's kind of like you're not being in a very cheery mood. You know what I mean? Whereas like Halloween can be like, it can be fun and nice. It can also be scary and terrifying. Like it just has so many layers to it. Whereas like Christmas feels like it's a lot more like good and nice. But Christmas is great too. For different reasons, obviously. But if you're trick-or-treating, I'm just saying, like, when you're trick-or-treating, it's not just you alone. It's not like a solo sport. It's like everybody's in on it. So might as well try it with other people. So that's the other point, is if you're going in groups, group trick-or-treating is probably the best. Group trick-or-treating is like top tier. Because you always want to go with a group, you always want to go with friends, you want to go with people, and you could just make it like a thing. You don't even have to go out there to get candy. You can just go out there to interact with each other and like be silly. You know, it doesn't have to be so nuts. So the first thing for like groups, I guess, if you're a kid, is obviously you ask your classmates. It's like, oh, what are we doing for Halloween? Are we going? Oh yeah. Maybe schools should have like. No. Well, maybe. I don't know, dude. Like, I was thinking, like, school should have, like, a, like, after-school activity where, like, kids can, like, hang out or, like, hang out with each other or whatever, but I guess that doesn't really work. It's more of, like, you go home and do it yourself kind of a feel. You know what I mean? So, anyways, classmates you can go out with. You can have, like, just get a group of your friends and go out there and just, like, have fun, do whatever. There's also, you know what? You could do like an all. Here's the thing, right? You can do like an all guys Halloween adventure. Like, wouldn't that be cool? And then like, it's like a treasure hunt to find like this big thing of candy, and it's like all of your favorite stuff. So you get one person who's like in charge of hiding it, and they like set up like little clues here and there, and then you go out there and you just do like a Halloween scavenger hunt. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like a big like a cooler full of like candy, and like you hide it all nice and neat so that way nobody else finds it and takes it from you. And yeah, that'd be like such a fun. That's such like a fun idea. And then afterwards, after you find it, you come back home, you eat your candy, you watch like a horror movie, and you like throw like a party and whatnot, like stuff like that. Cool, huh? Like the best. That sounds like a great idea. And then, you know what? The girlies can have fun too. The girlies can definitely do the exact same thing, but it's all girls. And you know what? It could be, you could do like a girls' night, all girls' night Halloween adventure. You know, and it's like a girls' night sleepover. You watch like the Twilight series or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, just like doing silly stuff. I don't get it. Maybe you could like, you can make like what is it? Like skeleton Rice Krispie treats. You ever see those? Like they make the Rice Krispie treats, but they cut them into like skulls. You know what I mean? With like those cookie cutters. Like that could be an idea. And then you decorate them and whatnot. You could like do like a dress up party where it's like you guys pick each other's Halloween costumes and whatnot. You know, stuff like that. Stuff Stuff like that could be really fun. And that's for either or. I'm just, throwing things out there. Because sometimes people just want to do like all guys this, all girls that. But like really you could just do it with a big group of your friends or whatever. Throw a party and whatnot. So yeah, that's it. So when you're trick-or-treating again, just either stick to the same routine or switch it up entirely. You know what I mean? You gotta find that groove. You gotta figure out what works best for you and just have fun with it. Really just have fun with it. And if you don't, well, you're really missing out a bit. I think. But maybe not. It's cool to just like enjoy Halloween by yourself as well. Like just watch horror movies, do your own thing, do whatever you want to do this Halloween. As long as it's spooky, keep it spooky. All right. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.